Why did the bee get married? Because he found his honey. What do you call bears without ears? Bees. What do you call a wasp? A wannabe. What's a bee's favorite novel? The Great Gatsby. What do you get if you cross a bee with a doorbell? A humdinger. Who is a bee's favorite singer? Sting. Who is a bee's favorite pop group? The Bee Gees. What is the bee's favorite part of a relationship? The honeymoon period. What did the sushi say to the bee? Wasabi. What do you call a bee that can't stop eating? A chubby. What kind of bee is a sore loser? A crybaby bee. Who protects the queen bee? Her hubby. How many bees do you need in a bee choir? 100. What's the last thing to go through a bee's mind when it hits your windshield? Its bum. Why did the bee go to the barber shop? To get a buzz cut. What do you call a bee born in May? A maybe. What kind of bee can't be understood? A mumblebee. What do you call a bee that lives in America? USB. Where do bees keep their money? In a honey box. What do you get when you cross a race dog with a bumblebee? A greyhound buzz. What is a bee's favorite sport? Rugby. What TV station do bees watch? BBC One. What do you get when you cross a horse with a bee? Neighbors. What did the bee say to the naughty bee? Behive yourself. Why did the bees go on strike? Because they wanted more honey and shorter working flowers. What do you get if you cross a bee with a skunk? An animal that stinks and stings. What does a queen bee do when she burps? Issue a royal pardon. How do you propose to the queen bee? With a ruby ring. Did you hear about the bee that was overweight? It had chubby legs and flabby fingers. How do you seduce a bee? With a succubus. How does a queen bee get around her hive? She's thrown. What do you call a bee that prefers nectar to pollen? Snobby. What does the bee Santa Claus say? Ho hum hum. Why do bees hum? Because they've forgotten the words. What kind of bees hum and drop things? A fumblebee. What did the bee say to the flower? Hello, honey. What's a bee's favorite flower? A begonias. What do you call a bee who single-handedly defended a colony from a wasp attack? Not too shabby. What did the confused bee say? To be or not to be? What do you call a bee who is having a bad hair day? A frisbee. What do bees do if they want to use public transport? Wait at a bus stop. What do you give a bee on the first day of class? A syllabus. How does a bee get to class? On the school bus. What's a bee's favorite shape? A rhombus, of course. Why do bees hum? They've forgotten the... What do you call a bee explorer? Christopher Columbus. What do you call a bee you can't share secrets with? A blabby. What's a beeline? The shortest distance between two buzz stops. What is a baby bee? A little humbug. What does a bee get at McDonald's? A hamburger. What buzzes is black and yellow and goes along the bottom of the sea? A bee in a submarine. What's more dangerous than being with a fool? Or fooling with a bee? What kind of animal kills a lot of people? Hepatitis B. What did the spider say to the bee? Your honey or your life? What did the bee say to the other bee when they landed on the same flower? Buzz off. What is a bee's favorite painter? Pablo Picasso. What did the bee say to the other bee in the summer? Swarm here, isn't it? What's a bee's favorite classical music composer? Beethoven. Who writes books for little bees? Beatrix Potter. Where do bees go on holiday? Singapore. What do you call bees buzzing in unison? Sing-alongs. What does a bee styles hair with? A honeycomb. What do you call a bee who had a spell put on him? He's bewitched. Why do bees buzz? Because they can't whistle. What letter makes honey? What letter make honey? B. Can bees fly in the rain? Not without their little yellow jackets. What did the bee... Why did the bee start taking poetry? He was waxing lyrical. What flies in the air and goes zub zub? A bee flying backwards. What goes zub zub? A bee flying backwards. What are the cleverest bees? Spelling bees. What bee is good for your health? Vitamin B.